Pat Mahomes.
Bust. What would you have said if I bet you $100 at the end of the round robin and start of the playoffs that the Stars would be in the Stanley Cup playoffs or Stanley Cup finals?
I don't know.
Because Bomb.
That was their best player.
So how do y'all feel about this?
Very impressed with how bad they're doing.
Donovan Mitchell, who right now looks to be a superstar.
Yeah, and as a Cowboys fan, I have learned how dangerously good Aaron Rodgers has been with he can just thread a pass.
A lot worse than I thought. So, what do you think is going to happen in the game tonight, Kevin?
I don't know what to think.
They've won a game by 2 points, 3 points, and 1 point.
A very high number.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Before the season started, traded for Mookie Betts. What do you think about that trade, Austin?
If he can step up, that'll really help the Lakers in the future.
Just amazing, and I don't care what the Red Sox got for trading Mookie Betts and David Price. The Dodgers, in my opinion, win it. I don't have to see what players they gave up.
I think we should move on to the Yankees, but after that, everything just fell apart.
Hey guys, welcome back to our 10th episode of Outsiders Opinions. Hope you enjoyed the new intro. Let us know what you think of it in the comment section down below. This is our 6th episode on Spotify, so let us know if you would like us to expand to other platforms. Last episode, we talked about the MLB playoffs, so go check out how our picks turned out. Now that the NHL draft has concluded and we have seen some big signings in free agency, Austin and I will discuss the NHL right now. So Austin, how about we start with our review of the Stanley Cup, as the Lightning are the champions.
Yeah, they were very impressive throughout the entire playoffs. I thought the Stars had a good chance, and they just got wore down by a more physical team. While the Stars are physical, when they get that injured, it's hard for them to keep up that physicality. The Stars just didn't have gas in Game 6, and it really stifled their ability to come back in the series. All props to the Lightning, and they win their first since 2004. Stamkos gets his first, and Hedman won Conn Smythe. Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov, that was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt. And they took over the game whenever the Lightning needed goals.
Yeah, and we mentioned in our keys to the game holding big leads. When the Lightning got a lead, I think the only game they came where the Stars tied it was Game 4, right? When they won in overtime.
Something.
That was like the only time the Lightning gave up a lead, while the Stars continued to give up. They'd have a 1-goal lead, and then the Lightning would go on a power play, and either Braden Point or Kucherov, or in the very few minutes played, Stamkos would score. It just goes to show the offense for the Dallas Stars could not keep up, and when the defense needed to step up, the Lightning's offense just overpowered them.
Yeah, the Stars have a very hot and cold offense. They're either one of the best offenses in the league or one of the worst. And they were one of the best throughout the majority of the playoffs. But in those last couple games, they really had to rely on Joe Pavelski and Corey Perry, who weren't the premier guys coming into the season.
Yeah, and you didn't see a lot of for the Stars, you have John Klingberg and Miro Heiskanen, and I think that helps propel their offense, but you didn't see them play until Game 4. You didn't see them get very active in the key games until Game 4 and Game 5.
Yeah, Miro was very hesitant on his shots. He should have shot a ton of them, and he tried to pass and gave up opportunities to the other team by making bad decisions, or gave up scoring chances because he decided to pass right to a defender. But I mean, he played well. He's young. The Stars have a pretty good young core that I did not anticipate to be as good as it looks like it will. The Stars definitely have a good chance next year, especially after they re-signed Hudobin, and I expect them to make it at least back to the second round next season, and we'll see what the Lightning do next season, as they're probably the favorites to go back to back, even though it's very rare.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the key thing for the Stars is you re-signed Hadobin and you re-signed Foxa. You are still looking for contracts for Guryanov and Hintz, but I'm very curious on this to see about Rick Bonus and to see if he comes back, as he was the interim head coach. And this would be, if he doesn't come back, this would be, I think, the fourth coach in 4 years for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I think we can go to the draft, which we weren't surprised at all for the number one overall pick to the Rangers, as Alexis Lafreniere was the number one overall pick. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, Alexei Lafreniere is a very, very good player. It's surprising seeing a wing taken so high in the draft, first overall. The last player I remember who's turned out really well was Patrick Kane, obviously. But because normally wingers and defensemen and goalies are not as important as centers because they're more of your two-way player and they can do it all. But there was no doubt Lafreniere was the best player in the draft. Um, the Senators had two top 10 picks, or two top 5 picks, really, and I thought they did well with their decisions. Um, I was kind of hesitant on their second choice because I thought that they had better. I thought there was better people that they could have taken because they took Sanderson, who I had as the second best defenseman. I had Drysdale over him, who was taken with the next pick. I like Stutzla. Stutzla and Byfield were basically the same, like on the same level. They were going 2 and 3. I like Stutzla better because even though he's stated as a winger, I feel like he will move to become a center, and I think he has more speed than Byfield. Byfield's more of a physical presence and a very good two-way player, and definitely should be taken top 3. But yeah, the draft was interesting. There's a lot of very questionable picks that I had no idea. The Blue Jackets, for one, with their first round pick, they got Yegor Chinikov, who no one had any idea who this dude was. Like, there was no scouting reports on him or anything, but they saw him do well in the KHL over in Russia, and they thought that they might as well take a chance on a guy that not many people expected to see be taken in the top 21.
Yeah, and we saw the Dallas Stars choose Maverick, and that's a very nice thing, as they have the Dallas Mavericks and they play in the same arena. That's just a cool thought. And to add on about the Senators, they actually made a trade for Matt Murray, who has already won a Stanley Cup and he's only 26. So that seems like a good trade, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. He is on and off type of player. I expect him to do well, but I don't know if he can get the Senators to the playoffs, who are really growing and excelling right now. But with Stutzla's broken arm, and he's questionable to be back by the time the season starts, that makes it tough because that's the guy you expected to be one of your premier players, even though he's a rookie.
Yeah, and I think we can move on to free agency, as we saw Torrey Krug go to the Blues, which meant that Alex Pietrangelo would not be returning, and we actually saw him sign a 7-year deal with the Vegas Knights.
Yeah, Alex Pizarro, he was a very fundamental piece for the Blues when they won their championship in 2019, and I expected him to leave, even though he's been with them for a while now. Uh, so I was not surprised, and the Vegas was hinting at it that they were going to get him for weeks, right? Especially because they had a good bit of cap space, even though they're losing a lot of it now because they're signing so many big players, and they were about to trade Schmidt anyway to Vancouver like they did. Um, I thought it was pretty interesting that Henry Lundqvist who's been with the Rangers for his entire career, left for the Capitals. Um, I knew he was going to leave the Rangers. It was definite, and they parted ways. But to the Capitals, it's interesting. There's a lot of goalie flops. Like Holtby went to Vancouver. Hank Lundqvist went to the Capitals. Jacob Markstrom went to the Calgary. Uh, yeah, and stuff like that. Torrey Krug going to the Blues just solidifies their blue line after they lost Peter Angelo. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, and we saw Cam Talbot leave the Flames. The names, I forgot the team he went to, but I'm going to go back to the Stars on Hadobin. They re signed him, which I think was very key, especially with Ben Bishop. He's a great goalie, but sometimes you need to have Hadobin offers a great replacement or a great alternative. And that could really help as if you have Hadobin and Bishop healthy, as we saw Bishop in last year's playoffs play incredibly well as the Stars took the Blues to Game 7. And I just can't imagine what it would be like if you have Hadobin and Bishop playing at their best in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, it would be. You'd almost get to play two starters. It makes it makes them have a lot more energy when they go out there on the ice to play.
Yeah, and I think we can agree. I would say the Stars are going to make the playoffs, but out of the Stanley Cup finals, I think the Lightning have a better chance to go back
I agree.
because their offense is just incredible.
Yeah. Because you mentioned Cam Talbot, he went to the Wild. So yeah, there was a lot of goalie switches. Devin Dubnyk got traded to the San Jose Sharks. I mean, a lot of goalies switched places to see how their future is gonna be moving forward. But yeah, I think we can end it there.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and thank you for listening to our 10th episode. Please give us a like or follow on Spotify. Also, like some of our picks or think we are crazy, share our episodes with some of your friends to see if they agree or disagree with you. Also, be on the lookout for our 11th episode as we discuss how LeBron finally won his 4th ring with Anthony Davis. We will also discuss how likely or unlikely that they repeat.